Keep that hat, son. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous of RGT's hat. I consider myself to be a somewhat sophisticated gamer because I own all the platforms that there are to own. I own an Xbox Series X, I own a PlayStation 5, I own a Nintendo Switch OLED and standard Nintendo Switch, I own a Steam Deck, I own an Asus ROG Ally. I own all of these systems because all of them kind of give me a unique way to play video games. But when it comes to the big three, the Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo consoles, I own those consoles because of console exclusives. They are the lifeblood of a platform. The only way to play these games is on the certain console, so you pretty much have to buy that console in order to get into their ecosystem. Now, I think exclusives are a very good thing, and I know that there's people out there that don't like them, but every company likes them because it gets you to buy their hardware. But when it comes to hardware, Xbox has always been kind of the outlier. It wasn't always the case, I should say, because up until the Xbox One, they were big into hardware sales. They were letting you know how much stuff they sold. But nowadays, it's very quiet on the Western front. So what is their focal point? Is it on selling Xbox Series systems? Maybe, kind of. Sometimes it is. Depends what day of the week it is. But it seems like Game Pass is always at the forefront of what Xbox wants to do. And in a recent interview with Xbox's CFO, Tim Stewart, mixed messages. That's the best way I can say it. It's just mixed messages. So we're going to take a look at this interview together here and try to make some sort of sense from it. This is coming to us from Tech Raptor. Make sure you guys check them out. YouTube is getting very weird about having links in the description box, so just go to Tech Raptor, tell them RGT sent you. But Tim Stewart talked about AI, which nobody wants to hear, how it's successful in games, and more. It's a very interesting sort of interview that was done at the Wells Fargo TMT Summit. So it's basically a press conference that was streamed live, and my Italian brother, and I assume you're Italian, Giuseppe. If you're not, your family is a bunch of tricksters, because that's a very Italian name. But he talks about AI and crap like that, how AI is going to help game development. Yeah, we'll see how that works. We'll see how that works out, buddy. Look, I watched Terminator 2. I know how this story ends. Anyways, going down here, they say, oh, the barista at your local Starbucks has an awesome idea for a game, and I think use Copilot and AI to create a great mobile experience. Yeah, I'm sure that's what the barista at Starbucks is working on, instead of working on her coffee. I don't know. I don't go to Starbucks. I don't drink coffee. It's just, I'd rather be tired all day. I'm not a big fan of caffeine. So basically, AI, secret sauce, blah, blah, blah. Lana Pierce is cussing at the air because she doesn't like AI. But here's what things get interesting with this situation. So after completing the Activision Blizzard acquisition, he goes on to say, but really at its highest level, it's leveraging what Activision is so good at. Get out of here, lady. Which is consoles and PC and mobile. How do we take that great DNA, make it an accelerant to the IP that we have, leverage the great assets that they have and expertise that they have? And thankfully, we both talk a gaming language, and even the few months since we've been an entity, the speed at which we've integrated and the speed at which we've worked together is really impressive. So this, of course, is talking about stuff like Activision, like Blizzard, like Bethesda, all of these companies that Microsoft has been essentially gobbling up, with the mindset of, gamers themselves. And, just because of how video games have always been, most of us have been figuring, okay, they're buying all these companies so they don't have lulls in their game release cycle, because there's been some big gaps between heavy hitter Xbox first party titles. So we're buying up all these companies so that we have these companies under our umbrella and they are making games for our hardware. But of course, this is kind of where the message gets a bit mixed up, because as we know, all of these first party games that are Xbox games come into something called Xbox Game Pass on day one. As a consumer, I love Xbox Game Pass. It is freaking great. I love having access to all of these games for a monthly subscription fee. And I know we could get into the nitty gritty about, physical games, and these games can be removed from the Xbox storefront. They still make physical versions of these games. It's just, I'm not buying Starfield for $70 when I can play it without an additional cost in my Game Pass subscription fee. It just kind of makes sense. And if I really like a game, I can always pick it up secondhand, or I can always pick it up when it's on sale. at least for now, while we're still in the somewhat age of physical media. But Game Pass is really the big draw for Xbox hardware. Game Pass is why you buy an Xbox, primarily, I feel, because it's not necessarily exclusive titles, at least for right now. It's a system where you could get this Game Pass and then you don't have to worry about buying games. Pretty much everything is on there, and if it's not, you can always pick up a game digitally. So Game Pass is what drives Xbox. Xbox is what drives Game Pass, and Xbox system sales are kind of contingent on Game Pass. So why do I feel like Xbox wants to go third party? Because we can look at here, what he just says here, and then he goes here. We're not announcing, first off, he talks about stuff like operating leverage. First-party subscriptions and advertising are all high-margin businesses that the company wants to expand to. While he's not announcing anything broadly, Stewart explains that Xbox's mission is to bring its first-party experiences and subscription services to every screen that can play a game. That means smart TVs. That means mobile devices. That means what we would have thought as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. We're going to NVIDIA's GeForce Now, their subscription service. Oh my God. So this is something that Xbox continually likes to say. They like to say, we want Game Pass on everything. And you know what? If that's the case, then that's okay. You know, that's okay. If that's your mantra, then that is fine. You want Game Pass on PlayStation. You want Game Pass on Nintendo. You know what? It kind of makes a little bit of sense because you do have all these IPs. You do have all these IPs and companies under your belt now to where you could offer a nice subscription service without having to pay third-party companies an exorbitant amount of money to put their games into Game Pass. And whether that game is successful or not, you no longer really care because now it's not just on Xbox and PC with the Game Pass. It's on everything. You want Game Pass across the board. That's great. But then I have to ask this question. If that's the case, if that's the end goal, what the hell is the point of hardware? What the hell is the point of the Xbox Series X? Like, just go third party. I don't understand. If you're making a console and you want people, do you want people to buy your console or not? Do you care more about Game Pass than the console sale? I understand Game Pass can generate more revenue for you, and you're probably not making much on the console itself, but I feel like the whole point of the console is Game Pass, but it's also getting people to try out other games that aren't on Game Pass. Getting to try out other Xbox-related experiences that maybe aren't on Game Pass that third-party developers are creating for Xbox. Like, there's really no third-party exclusives for Xbox. You see Sony and, of course, Square Enix doing a lot of exclusives. You see Nintendo and Square Enix doing exclusives. You have these companies, Level 5 Studios, these companies that skip Xbox and do exclusives with PlayStation and do exclusives with Nintendo. But if you just care about your own games, and you just care about Game Pass, why is this? Why make a console? Like, seriously, why make a console? You don't seem to like the console industry. You don't like it anymore because it's not doing the same sort of numbers that you did during the Xbox 360 era. The Xbox 360 era, as far as console sales are concerned, was the most successful for Microsoft. They had PlayStation on the ropes. PlayStation 3 was a pain in the ass to develop for, whereas the Xbox 360 was a much easier system, and you know, games that were third-party games that came out on both platforms. For the first few years, they ran substantially better on the Xbox 360, but somewhere along the way, you kind of got a bit, you know, mixed up, I feel. You know, you kind of lost sight of the vision, and things have just been very sort of weird for Xbox. This isn't an Xbox bashing video. This isn't a PlayStation praising or a Nintendo Switch praising video, but I just don't understand why you're sticking around the console marketplace if you don't want to be there, if this isn't a priority for you. And I understand that a lot of diehard Xbox fans feel like console sales are a priority for you. And, you know, it's good that you want to put all your games on the other systems, but you still need to buy an Xbox because reasons. And it's like just kind of mixed messaging here. Like, what is our end goal? What is the end goal of Xbox? Because I don't feel like the end goal has anything to do with console sales anymore. I don't think they want to be in the console market anymore. I honestly feel like they just want to be able to put Game Pass onto all these other services, or all these other systems, I should say, and then just focus on software. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've had companies go that route before. Looking at Sega, still breaks my heart, but looking at Sega, they made a successful transition from a company that made hardware into a company that is now a third-party developer. There's nothing wrong with that, but you need to be a bit more clear about it, because I feel like the messaging is just sort of all over the place. Am I supposed to buy an Xbox Series console, or am I supposed to not and just get Game Pass on my PC, or, you know, hope that it comes to my smart TV in the future? Because you're obviously pushing for that. You don't want that console. You want to sell that television and a controller or a third-party controller, and then bam, I'm playing all your games. But I feel like at some point in time, you're going to run out of customers to potentially market that to. I don't know. There's a lot you could say about this, and I feel like I've said a lot. I've kind of gone all over the place in my video about this, but I just feel like, you know, we're being pushed in so many different directions by a lot of these companies. You know, it's not just Xbox. It's, you know, PlayStation. Is it live service, or is it, you know, the narrative games and stuff like that? Nintendo, you know, what they're doing in the future with their hardware. Are they releasing new hardware in 2024? There's a lot of mysteries, and I feel like they're worth solving, and we'll probably get some more answers in 2024. But this just struck me. I don't know. If you're not if I'm a car manufacturer and I'm making a car, I'm competing with everyone. You know, I understand I might be a budget car, so I'm not really necessarily directly competing with Bentley or Mercedes or something like that, but they are still competition because we both make cars. And when you look at video game consoles, there's only 3 people doing video game consoles. 3. They're your competition, unless they're not. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below. As always, remember, I am the king of Xbox YouTube. Move over, Jez and Randall Thor and Colt Eastwood and all you other Xbox people, because I run the show around. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, oh, thank you guys for 485,000, baby. We're 15K away from 500K. Probably spring of next year we'll hit it, unless something crazy happens in video games. But yeah, that's super awesome. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend. All that crap. I'm just rambling. All right, I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.